Hi guys, welcome back to another vlog. I hope you're all good. So today it is our first property auction. Yay! I'm not going to get too excited, I'm not going to lie, because if you get too excited then you're going to be disappointed. So
no, I think you have to go into it assuming you're not going to win, and then if you win it's a bonus.
The thing is though, I actually don't think we'll win.
I don't think we will.
Why are we here then?
And I think you need to kind of stay calm. And I said to Leah actually, because the auction started online already, we've watched a little bit of it, but I don't want to get too hyped up because I feel like that's when you get into like overbidding and stuff like that, like an eBay auction. You know, like when you're bidding on like some tatty old something or other and you end up overpaying for it.
Like we end up egging it on, like, yeah, just one more, and then next thing you know we'll be like, oh.
Yeah. So we've set a maximum price already. So we've already done the due diligence in terms of, so I've been to view it, kind of like assessed how much work it will take. This is a cosmetic refurb for us compared to what we normally do. So we've already assessed it and we've already set our maximum price that we cannot go over. So if you find out afterwards that we've won and we went over, you need to call us out on that.
No, you need to say how much.
So we've set our maximum at 65.
Yeah, 65 is the maximum today.
Yeah, and that's because, and it sounds quite low, but it's because there's a good 10 grand of fees in terms of, you know, buyer's fees, auction fees and all of that sort of thing. It adds up to about 10 grand, and that's before you get into your own legal fees and all of that sort of thing. But just the actual auction fees and buyer's fees is like about 10 grand in total. No, so that's why we've set a price to bid at a maximum 65.
Yeah. Also, just going to throw it out there, we're not like auction experts or anything like that.
We're complete novices.
This is actually a little bit, I don't want to say it, but it is a little bit spontaneous.
Well, I mean, we spotted the house when, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks
but
ago.
Still.
So the time it's then taken, so obviously we've then had to register for the online bidding, because we're doing it online, so we had to register online, send through lots of documents and details, put like a holding deposit down, because you kind of have to prove that you've got the money in the bank ready to kind of like pay what you need to pay on the day. So all of that's been done. So we've now got a pin, we've logged in, and we're now just watching the auction live as it goes. You can't hear it, but it's on in the background.
Yeah. It's just weird.
It is weird. And I mean, the thing that so even when we went to view, so obviously our guide price is quite low, and they deliberately do that just to get a lot of interest in the auction. And we can see already that stuff that had a guide price of 30, so I can see one of the lots had a guide price of 30, is gone for 86. So actually I'm not hopeful that we're actually going to win out. And something else that had a guide price of 250, which was a commercial property, has gone for 508. So they're going for quite a lot. There's a lot of interest in this auction.
I don't think we'll get it. But I genuinely mean, I don't think we'll get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it to sound like I'm not bothered. I just think someone will bid a lot.
I think the biggest thing with this auction, and particularly the house that we're after, there are only 2 lots in this particular area, which is our investment area. So there are only 2 lots. And the thing about the house that we're looking at in particular is, if somebody wants to buy it to live in, they're probably going to pay more than an investor will pay. So, you know, if there is somebody like that, and it is quite a sort of decent area for a family to live in, so that's when we're probably likely to be outbid.
Yeah. This literally feels like a virtual version of Homes Under the Hammer.
It's funny.
Yeah, it actually is. Okay, well, they're just going through the different auctions now, so I'll turn it on when it gets closer to ours, because, yeah, unless we say anything that's interesting, then I'll start recording again. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for our auction property to come up, Mum is buying some stuff for our current refurb, so she's just buying the last final like bits and bobs. So what are you getting today from Wix?
So today from Wix we are getting the wardrobe rails that go inside the fitted wardrobes, and a few connectors. So because all of the plumbing stuff is being finalised this week and everything's being tested, etc., there's just a few bits and bobs that I've been asked to get. A lot of these the builder would normally get himself now at this stage as and when he needs, but they're so busy down there because obviously we've got tenants moving in on Monday.
It's not even funny.
He's asked me to kind of just help out and get a few bits and bobs. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy week for sure.
It's going to be a rush.
Yeah.
A big rush. So we've had a dramatic turn of events.
It's only if you're a drama queen is it dramatic, I feel.
Offended. So we're actually gonna bid for someone else, actually a family member, for some of the other properties that are on there because they're interested in them. So
yeah, and they're interested in coming in on our deal. I think that's why as well. We're not just gonna like randomly bid for any random person, because obviously there's legal commitments.
Yeah.
Once you go for it, so because they're thinking of investing in our deal, which we've actually got two investors that want to come in if we're successful.
Yeah.
But then the one investor has also got another couple of lots that they want us to bid on if we can.
Yeah. And when we say investors, these are our family and friends.
Close. Family and close.
Close. I will emphasise close, you know.
Like family, basically. These aren't just random people that we've met at property networking.
Yeah, they're just family and friends that want to get involved. Close friends and family. So we're on lot number 12 now, and we're number 21.
Yeah.
21.
It's pretty quick, to be fair. It's only been kind of just almost an hour, and it's about a lot every, 5 minutes?
Yeah, but there's 99 lots.
So how long is that going to take?
All day. Is he even going to stop for lunch?
Divided by 12, it's 12 an hour, so it should be about 8 hours. That sounds about right, actually. Well, when you think about Homes Under the Hammer, often they talk about the lots that are right at the end of the day, and most of the people have gone already.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff's going for quite high, actually. So I don't know what our chances are. Let's have a look at some of the ones that have gone recently. Guide price. I want to look for some of the low guide prices. So lot number 6 had a guide. Lot numbers 6 and 7 had guide prices of 25, and they've both gone for 105 and 221. That cannot be right.
It's too much. It's too much.
Lot number 9 had a guide price of 50, and it went for 131. Okay. Lot number 10 had a guide price of 50, and it went for 214. To be fair though, those are fairly strong areas anyway. I mean, the one of those was, fairly one of Birmingham's most expensive areas, so that's probably no big surprise. Lot number 12, so that had a guide price of 34 to 39, and it went for 95. Okay. And that's not in great condition, to be honest. So, okay, this auction is lively. And then the current one, which is and Lucky for Sam, number 13, guide price of 40, is already on 91.
Why are they even bothering with the guide prices?
I think just to get people in. So that's the one lesson I've learned from this auction process. So the guide price is ridiculously low, just to kind of drum up interest in the auction, which has clearly worked, because here we are
I'm not
with
doing
a
this
million
again.
and one things to do.
I'm not doing this again.
Well, you did say that you loved Homes Under the Hammer. This is what's got you into property. They never show this on Homes Under the Hammer, do they? People sat on the sofas doing online bidding.
No.
It's always in the room, some person that you can't see at the back that's got a cap on, who you then only see afterwards. When
To be fair, I think if we did the in the room ones, it'd be so easy to get hyped up in it, like all the rah-rah, razzle-dazzle.
Yeah. I think that's when, often I think in the room, I sense that's when you sometimes get people buying stuff that they haven't even seen, just because they're almost like, they get determined, that they want to buy something, and so they just end up buying any random thing.
I just don't think you can do that. Like, you can't have your heart set on like, oh, I want to buy something, do you know what I mean? It's too...
Yeah, I think unless, I was just saying to one of our investors on the phone, I was just saying that a mutual friend of ours, who's now got a building company, he's got a view that within a certain area, in terms of his investment area, where he's sort of done the due diligence, he's kind of like, if there's a house and it's going for less than 50 grand, I'm going to buy it. Because he's kind of figures out that you can't go wrong. So I think if you have like those rules of thumb set already, then maybe you can, without seeing. It's still risky though, isn't it? Because for all you know, the house could be falling down. or could be completely condemned. But then, you know, you've still got a plot of land, haven't you, that you can rebuild on if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So lot number 13, that went for 93. So that was the one that was on for a guide price of 40. That's not bad, actually. I feel as though they're actually starting to get a little bit more reasonable, maybe the last two. Because I feel that some of those earlier ones were just absolutely crazy, and they were selling for like way above the guide price. Yeah, you definitely don't want to get caught up in it, and that's part of the reason that I just had it on silent.
Yeah.
This morning.
Otherwise, we'd be watching like, ooh.
You just want to stick to your strategy. You can feel your adrenaline racing just by listening to the bidding. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so we're only 3 properties away from our property.
Our property.
Our
lot. The lot that we're
lot.
interested in.
Yeah, and what we've noticed is that the prices are actually starting to come down. So before it was kind of like the lowest amount someone had paid was like 85, whereas now it's kind of going into the 70s and 60s. So
yeah, and we're trying to see whether that. I've got a theory that it might just be area specific. So this particular area that we're looking at, not that we're looking at, sorry, these particular area that the last 3 lots have gone in, they've actually all gone for quite low, and I'm guessing it's just because there's probably not that much interest in that area. So they've gone for like 69.5, 71 and 79.5, and actually the guide prices were all kind of like 24 to 29, plus there was like a 25 plus one, which is kind of similar to the one that we're looking at.
yeah.
So basically, obviously, because there isn't that much interest necessarily in that area, they've actually gone for sort of reasonable sorts of amounts. So fingers crossed, nobody's interested in the lot that we're after. The volume is still off because we're just trying to keep a level head. We're just remembering our top number. We're not getting caught up in everything, which is so easy to do, but I feel it's much better with the volume off, so that would be my tip.
Yeah, there's no ramping when it comes to this.
Yeah.
No messing around.
Serious business.
It's not a joke.
Yeah. And I have thought about, and we haven't really talked about this, but I had thought about next steps, because obviously certain things have to be done quite quickly in terms of auction. So, you know, at least because we're already investing, we already have things like solicitors lined up and brokers and that, this, that and the other. I say brokers, not that we would be using financing for it anyway. Oh, that one's just gone, that lot's just gone as well for another like a 70 grand one. I mean, that is above our level anyway, so I'm just reminding myself of that. But it's interesting. But yeah, so if we do win, obviously there's things that have to be done really quickly in terms of, you know, getting your solicitors on the case and all of those sorts of things, and getting your funding kind of all together.
It's literally one more than us.
Bits and bobs. Yeah. Our other investors just texted me to say, we're next.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Let me hear it. Let me just listen to it.
136 has got it on the phone, going, gone and sold.
Turn the laptop off. Turn the laptop off.
Phone, wow.
I'm stunned. I'm actually stunned. I've been stunned into silence.
That was an absolute shambles. That was a shambles.
Oh my gosh.
That actually was a joke. That was actually a joke. How can he start the bidding at 60 when we only wanted to pay 65? The shock.
It went for nearly 6 times the guide price.
Yeah, and it sold for 136, but we know based on that area, don't they sell for like 140 around there?
They'll sell for about 180 maybe at the top, and I reckon that needed 20 grand of work.
And the fees.
So that's tight. That's really tight.
So if they paid 136, say about 10 grand
10 grand
in
of
freeze.
that's 146.
146.
20 grand is 166.
We didn't, yeah, no. They've overpaid, I don't even care.
Well, no, here's the thing. If, as an investor, there would be no margin left in that as an investor. But obviously, if you want it as your family home to kind of like live in for a long time, then it's probably fine.
Yeah. I guess so.
It is what it is.
How do people even do this? Don't you just feel like it was a waste of time?
No, well, it's just like viewing houses, and you know, when you go out and physically view houses and make offers and things like that, it's the same. It's just a different process. But you're not necessarily gonna. People don't generally offer on the first one and then that's accepted and then that's a deal. I know that we haven't had to offer on that many, but it doesn't happen that often. So I guess with auction, if that's your method of buying, you probably end up having to go to quite a few auctions before you get the right thing. It's the way the cookie crumbles.
Part of the game.
It is.
The game.
It is.
I can't believe it went for that much.
And you know, thinking about the book, Go for No, if this was your strategy, you'd still be going for it. We were kind of just cherry picking, and this isn't really our strategy. We were cherry picking because we thought, you know what, it's a really good opportunity on our doorstep. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So, and I would do it again still, if I saw something. In fact, there is a lot right near to the end, but it would be a new building, which definitely isn't our strategy. But I would do it again. I would have a look again. You never know. Anyway, I have a webinar to go prep for.
Do you know what though? I will say I can see how it's easy to get wrapped up in it. Like I wasn't wrapped up in it because I wasn't that bothered. But like when the man's egging you on, it's like, oh, just another 500, just another grand, just another 500. It's like, do you know what I mean? The people are like not pressuring you, but you can see how you get wrapped up in the situation. Yeah.
There was clearly a lot of interest in that because it went up really quickly, and I think you've got to. You know, obviously we don't really understand auction bidding strategies, but I think you've got to really understand what you're doing. But you don't want to just be part of some crazy feeding frenzy. Is how I feel.
Cool. Right. So there we go.
It's such a funny experience,
hasn't it? Right. So that was our first auction, guys. I'm not going to sit here and promise that it'll be the first of many. I didn't enjoy this.
It was an experience.
Yeah. Cool, but thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it as always. We've got some exciting renovation content coming up, so make sure you subscribe. But I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.